Ever heard of a shipwreck even more disastrous than the Titanic, yet shrouded in the mists of history? In April of 1865, the SS Sultana, an overcrowded steamboat, suffered a catastrophic fate on the Mississippi River. Its boilers exploded, and the vessel sank, taking with it an estimated 1,800 of its 2,400 passengers. This tragedy, dwarfing the infamous sinking of the Titanic in terms of loss of life, unfolded during the turbulent aftermath of the American Civil War. Soldiers freed prisoners of war, civilians. The Sultana was packed beyond capacity, a disaster waiting to happen. And it did, with a death toll almost equal to the number of lives claimed by the Titanic and the Hindenburg disasters combined. Yet, it's a disaster that few remember or have even heard of. In the aftermath of the American Civil War, the largest maritime disaster in history sank without a trace into the pages of forgotten history. Did you know a modern, well-equipped army once declared war on birds and lost? In the heart of the Australian outback in the year 1932, a battle of unprecedented proportions was taking place. The adversary? A horde of large, flightless birds known as emus. These creatures were wreaking havoc on the crops, leaving the farmers in despair. The Australian military was called upon to handle this feathered nuisance. Armed with machine guns and a determination to restore order, they ventured out into the vast plains. However, this was no ordinary enemy. The emus were swift, elusive, and seemingly impervious to the military's might. Days turned into weeks, and despite their best efforts, the military couldn't get the upper hand. The emus continued to roam free, making a mockery of the operation. The endeavor was eventually abandoned, leaving the military with a bruised ego and a story that would echo through history as an epic failure. So the next time you underestimate an opponent, remember the mighty Australian army and their feathered foes. Imagine launching a $1.5 billion project into space, only to realize you've made a catastrophic error. This was exactly the case with the Hubble Space Telescope, launched in the year 1990. The Hubble was designed to capture detailed images of the cosmos from its vantage point above Earth's atmosphere. However, shortly after its deployment, scientists discovered a fatal flaw. The telescope's primary mirror was incorrectly shaped. This slight deviation was less than the thickness of a human hair, but it was enough to cause the images it produced to be blurry. For 3 years, the Hubble was essentially a billion-dollar blunder floating in space. It wasn't until 1993 that a servicing mission was dispatched to fix the telescope, installing what was essentially a pair of glasses on the Hubble. Even in the vastness of space, the smallest errors can lead to monumental failures. What could be a greater failure than leaving your life's greatest work unfinished? Picture this. It's the year 1822, and the Austrian composer Franz Schubert is working on his Symphony No. 8. Notably, this piece would go on to be known as the Unfinished Symphony. Oddly enough, Schubert, despite living for 6 more years after starting the symphony, never completed it. Just 2 movements were fully fleshed out, leaving the symphony in a mysteriously unfinished state. This incomplete masterpiece, however, became one of Schubert's best-known and most beloved works. Despite the multitude of theories that have surfaced over the years, the real reason behind its incompletion remains shrouded in mystery. Some suggest illness, while others believe it was dissatisfaction with the work itself. We may never know why Schubert left his symphony unfinished, but it serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes it's the things we leave undone that resonate the most. In the end, the greatest failures may not be the ones we commit, but the ones we leave incomplete. From shipwrecks and wars against birds to astronomical errors and unfinished symphonies, we've journeyed through time and space, uncovering the lesser-known epic failures that have etched their marks in the annals of history. We've navigated the ancient seas, where a ship met an untimely end, not due to nature's fury, but human error. We've treaded the battlegrounds of Australia, where the mighty military met its match in the form of flightless birds. We've ventured into the cosmos, where an oversight turned a promising space telescope into a billion-dollar blunder. And we've stepped into the world of music, where a symphony, despite its brilliance, remains forever incomplete. These stories, though tinged with failure, teach us invaluable lessons. They remind us of our human fallibility, and yet they also highlight our incessant pursuit of perfection. Epic failures are not just footnotes in history, they are stark reminders of our human fallibility and the never-ending quest for perfection.